In this training video, I'm going to go over the new Well Child soap workflow. In the pediatric specialty, visit type Well Child, there's a new Well Child soap template. And the first thing users would want to do is take advantage of this new Well Child HPI that's been created. So I'm going to move on to over to the Well Child soap. And we're going to walk through the Well Child HPI first. So this is a dynamic Well Child HPI template, and I will go over a suggested workflow. The first thing in the suggested workflow is to select all normals. That will pull in the normal finding for each category. So the categories are here with the asterisk next to it. What you can also do though is edit the information. This lower field here is showing what the HPI note would look like if you left it as is. But I could actually go into these different panels. So from the history panel, this left-hand grid is showing me all the selections that are currently included in the note below. And then the right-hand side is giving me additional options that I could add to the note if I needed to. So to do that, I would click on one of these line items over on the right-hand side, and I can add a free texted note. And that information you'll see pulls into the HPI note below. I can also remove any of these items if I didn't actually discuss or follow up on any of these items. So I can click on a line item over here, and you'll see as I deselect the item, it will remove from the HPI note below. So I could do that for each section from the left-hand panel. So for example, education, if I didn't actually discuss this or it wasn't a normal finding, I can deselect it here, and I can even add additional details using the right-hand panel. And that information you'll see pulled in down below. I can also use this remove button. If there are specific sections that I want to take out of my note completely, I can select that over on the left-hand panel also. So I can say education altogether, I just want to remove that section from my note, and you'll see it removed from the grid over on the right-hand side. I can also select just one line item. Maybe I don't want to remove everything in history, but I do want to remove this one line item. I can use remove from this side, this right-hand side, and it removed that line item. So if I close this pop-up, you'll see my HPI notice change based on those selections I've made. One thing to know here is you can build quick save templates using the same functionality that existed in previous versions of NextGen. One thing to be mindful of is if you are creating new Well Child HPI quick saves, you would need to remove previous versions of that same type of quick save. You won't be able to use the new Well Child HPI quick saves in addition to the old if you had any built within the old HPI template. So if I were done within this screen, I'm going to click close, and we see that Well Child HPI note. Another addition to this reason for visit panel are the pediatric social history, nutrition elimination, and confidential history links. If we open this pediatric social history link, it actually brings us to the social history panel. The social history is now organized in a panel view, which makes for easier documentation. One thing to know is in previous versions of NextGen, you would be able to go in a pediatric patient to relationships and note tobacco exposure in the home or outside of the home. In this new version, you'll see that there's a tobacco exposure section, but it's just giving you a read-only view of if there are smokers in the home or not. To actually document that information, you would use the tobacco use panel. And there's a tobacco exposure or passive exposure section. You will also have that vaping use new panel that's been added to the social history. And then you'll see here this nutrition elimination link will redirect you to the nutrition elimination social history pop-up. It's not, for some reason, included as a panel item. So this was added to add some efficiency there. You'll also have that nutrition elimination link as a standalone. It does bring you to the exact same pop-up. And you can access your confidential history now from this view rather than in the histories panel previously. Moving on to the screening tools. You'll see the first one here that's available going forward is the child development history screening. One thing to know here, you will, if you are using one of the milestone development screening tools, and I realize this patient is out of range, but what I really want to call out is you will now be required to answer each question. Previous versions, you would be able to leave some items blank, but you won't be able to save going forward if you don't answer each question. Another thing that's new is you can now change the screening tool or the milestone tool to Spanish in addition to English. So I'm going to X out of there. If I completed that milestone pop-up, I would come back to this main page, and then there's my save and close, which is a little bit further down on the page. And it brings me back to my Wellchild soap. Another addition here is the immunization module. You can order new immunizations and pretty much use all functionality that exists in the standalone immunization module within this panel view. And finally, the anticipatory guidance button. This was previously the Wellchild button. It's now labeled anticipatory guidance under the assessment and plan. And that's the end of this training video.